You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Rachel Christopherson. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you and our community. On this edition of Crosstalk, we will be discussing the importance of education in theater. Numerous studies have shown a link between theater involvement and increased academic achievement, attendance, and self-esteem. Theater has a particularly positive effect on at-risk youth and students with learning disabilities. With that being said, this week we are delving deeper into the importance of education in theater. With us for our first segment is Jennifer McGrath, Vice President of Education at Orpheum Theater. Jen, thank you for talking with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Rachel.
Well, the Orpheum's educational program did start in 1999 with 50 students, and now you reach people from all across Memphis and beyond. Can you talk about the history of this program?
Sure. I mean, I think that sort of exactly as you said, is that it began with an idea and a passion and a love for the value of arts education, and specifically theater in arts education. And over time, with starting from those 50 students to where we are today, serving almost 50,000 students across the Mid-South, there's really been an amazing evolution and growth in the program, which I think speaks to both the need and the innovation in the field of what's possible for the arts.
Well, how important is the principle of education to the Orpheum?
I think it's number one for us in so many ways. The most beautiful thing about the power of the arts, right, is that it can speak to everyone, and it can speak to everyone in any number of ways. And so I think because of that, it's something that we like to keep at the top of our priority list. So whether you enjoy coming to Broadway as an audience member, whether you are interested in using art to teach core curriculum, as we do with our professional development programs, whether you are looking for a productive way to channel your energy and your creative expression, there's an opportunity for that. And specifically right now at the Orpheum, we're really looking at expanding what we do with the arts to include a lot of community building programs, and so using the arts as a means for bringing people together, bridging gaps, getting rid of boundaries, and especially in this challenging time that we're living in, to say the arts are a way that we can connect, we can express ourselves, we can learn from one another, and really bring people together, like I said, through community.
Mm-hmm. Well, what community building programs is the Orpheum working on?
Sure. There's so much that we do. I could talk for hours about it. I think some of the biggest work that we are doing has to do with our annual High School Musical Theater Awards program, which is celebrating 10 years this year. And through that program, we reach over 35 schools in the Mid-South area, immediately close by in Memphis, and then also in Arkansas and Mississippi, as you mentioned. And so, as you mentioned about that broad reach. And so this program is a year-round program that engages students in collaboration, in community building, in what it takes to put on a collaborative performance. And then all of those schools come together at the Orpheum on Thursday, May 23rd this year, of course, to celebrate their hard work, their community building, their collaboration, and sort of say, look at what we do when we come together, when we all put our voices together, we all work hard, look at what we can create, and we celebrate that on our stage, which is something that we're really, really proud of. Another program that we have that involves community building is our summer program called Mending Hearts Camp, which is a summer day camp for young people who have experienced the death of one or both of their parents. And so with a program like Mending Hearts, we're saying that while maybe you don't have any prior experience with music or dance or drama, this shared experience of losing a loved one and experiencing what that does as an impact on your life is a shared community experience. And so simply by putting a group of people, a group of young people that have experienced that together in the same space and saying, here are some tools that you may be able to use to help cope through that process. There's definitely a community that is being built there. And we often find that young people not only build friendships that last through those 2 weeks of camp, but that go on to last throughout the rest of the summer, throughout the rest of the year, and now as we approach our 3rd year, in continuing on even further beyond that.
Well, what drew the Orpheum to start the Mending Hearts program?
Sure. So Mending Hearts was actually designed and founded by our president and CEO, Brett Batterson. Brett lost his father very suddenly when he was 7 years old, and he credits the arts as being the thing in his life that allowed him to sort of cope through that process and then go on to become a productive human being. He believes that the arts gave him the opportunities, gave him the networking, gave him the confidence that he needed to go on and be a successful leader. And so he wanted to give back and give that opportunity to other young people. And so when he was working in Chicago, founded a very similar camp there that's been thriving for over 15 years. And so when he came to join us here in Memphis, he said, I'd like to do the same thing here to address some of the trauma that is happening in the community, and to show young people that they are not alone, that they have a community, and that there are ways that they can continue to go on and be supportive, be supported in their process as they grow older.
Well, the Orpheum is obviously doing a lot for theater in the community, but there is a lack of funding for theater education in schools and just fine arts in general. Why do you think this is?
The why is a bit of a mystery to me. I think that we are able to demonstrate time and time again through arts programming across the board around the world what the impact of that work can be. And so it's always quite heartbreaking to me, actually, when we hear that the arts is often the first thing to lose its funding. So I'm not sure what the why is, but what I can speak to is how necessary and valuable and important it is. And whether that's through using arts integration in schools. Something that we're very proud of at the Orpheum is that the Orpheum is partners with Shelby County Schools in a nationally recognized partnership through the Kennedy Center, where we provide quality arts integration, instruction, and professional development free for Shelby County Schools teachers. And this is actually a technique to use the arts to teach core curriculum in the classroom. And it's a wonderful tool because, like you said, you never know what's going to tap into a young person. And so providing multiple ways of reaching through to those subjects through the arts is often a wonderful way to do that. I know that when we see arts engagement in schools, right, we see higher attendance rates, fewer truancies, through fewer challenges in the classroom. It can often also be a great way, like I said, for young people that might be experiencing trauma outside of the classroom to channel that trauma and be able to cope with it, so that then they're able to be a little bit more of a productive learner in the classroom.
Well, Jen, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
When we come back, we'll see how 2 local professional theater companies are introducing kids to the stage.
The Poplar Pike Playhouse presents the queen of the scene, the diva with the fever, Lady Fabulous 1978, Dolores Van Cartier.
Spread the news, it's time to rock the pews. You need to come see Sister Act. It's a show that moves you through your toes, and maybe that's a fact. Every priest, every deacon, everyone who views this promo needs to see it.
Sister Act runs February 21st through March 9th. Call 755-7775 or go to ppp.org to reserve tickets. Make a habit to come see the show.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Let's continue our discussion of the theater education. With us now are Marcus Cox, the Director of Communications at Playhouse on the Square, and Lena Black, the Manager of Outreach and Education at Theater Memphis. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, POTS Theater Education Program developed in 1985. Can you talk about the history of the program?
Certainly, absolutely. So Playhouse on the Square is celebrating its 50th year of being in operation, and about half the time of that we realized that though we were always out in the community and serving the community as far as performances were concerned, that there was definitely a need to uplift and to bring up a new crop of entertainers and performers, and the best way to do that is to make sure that they're being trained and taught. And also it's already been proven and shown that arts certainly supports education in so many, many different ways. And so that's where our theater education department kind of spurred from.
Well, the mission of the Theater Memphis's Education and Outreach Program is to educate, entertain, and empower, and then serve the youth, adults, and typically overlooked audiences of the Mid-South through theatrical training, performances, and collaborations. How is Theater Memphis doing just that?
We have so many programs out in the community. That's actually our focus. We are the Department of Outreach and Education, and we like to put outreach in front of education, not because it's any more important, but it's just it tends to be what we focus on more. We've got so many different projects. We are out in the community with the Grizzlies mentoring program. We have what we call neighborhood stories projects, where we go into a community and help them get people in the community to tell their story and then help them put together a performance. We do have a summer program with an original script every year that the kids get to help workshop and create. We have a touring show that we send out to schools in the springtime, all kinds of programming to get the community involved.
Well, your most long-standing educational program is Show Wagon. Can you talk about this?
Absolutely. I believe it was last year was the 30th anniversary of Show Wagon, and it's a touring troupe of teaching artists. I believe they started in something similar to kind of what Tennessee Shakespeare does with the Romeo and Juliet project, going into schools and teaching Shakespeare, other stories in classrooms. But that shifted over the years to more of a troupe of people that would go out and present all different kinds of touring productions to schools. And now we call our Show Wagon actors teaching artists, because they not only do our performances for us, they help in every capacity that we need them to as teaching artists when we go into schools and other facilities where we need people to lead the activities that we're bringing.
Why do you think Show Wagon is a good first educational experience in theater for children?
Well, it's usually, most of the time, it's young, energetic people that are in Show Wagon, and so it's a good stepping stone between like an adult teacher and a child, somebody that's kind of in a medium age range that can show kids kind of how they can get into theater as a job, how you can do things and get paid for them. And they just bring a lot of energy and excitement and their knowledge. Most everybody that we hire has a degree in theater and is able to bring their knowledge of theater to all the students that we reach.
Well, both of your companies have educational opportunities for children and adults in some respect. How does the teaching process differ between these two, especially in the fine arts?
Well, the great thing about what we do, and our executive producer Mike Detroit loves to say this, and I agree with him completely too, is that we use the slogan, all rising water floats all boats. So, you know, with Playhouse on the Square's Department of Theater Education, we actually have 13 education and outreach programs that reach over 30,000 adults, children, and teens every year. And it's very similar to the same model as to where we do use professional artists. These are dancers, actors, vocal coaches as well. And so those are our instructors. And between a multitude of different programs, we have our theater school, which we have an adult theater school as well as a youth school. Our after-school acting program, also known as ASAP, which is a fantastic program that it fills the void in those schools and educational learning places that don't have arts education enrichment for after-school programs. We have a program that will come in and fill that void. And then, of course, we also have our Summer Youth Theater Conservatory that we do every summer, and that is a fantastic program that's going on 40 years now.
And our offerings most of the time tend to gear towards younger crowds, but our community projects that we have, particularly our stories projects, are typically always involving adults because they're people that have been in these communities for a long time and have really great stories to tell. And so we're able to go in and take those stories from all of those people and turn them into a really cool performance. And all of our programming, the rest of it is for kids, our summer camps. We also do our annual production of A Christmas Carol. We've had 40 years of A Christmas Carol at Theater Memphis, and our daytime production of A Christmas Carol provides usually around 26 performances, so usually around 10,000 teachers and students get to come see that every year. And each performance that we take to a school usually reaches about anywhere from 50 to 500 children. So we've got a lot of opportunities for every age group.
I was in the class of 94 and 95 at Christmas
I
Carol.
thought you
Yeah,
were
that was
at
me.
some point. Oh my goodness.
Well, speaking of the many programs at Playhouse on the Square, you do have a group called Q&A, which is
Yes.
a theater troupe for LGBT and allied youth ages 14 to 21.
That's right.
Why is the existence of this troupe so necessary?
Well, you know, the great thing about it is that the name itself. It's called Q&A, which obviously stands for queer and allied, but it also says Q&A, question and answer. I believe that there's always been an unfortunate stigma attached to, you know, our LGBTQ community, especially with the youth. And so the program was created as a way to basically fill that void, to answer questions. Instead of just having your own thoughts or perceptions about it, if you really want to know, the best way to do is to ask. And then for our young people, it's a great way to empower them as well, so that they, you know that they're not alone. And for a lot of us in the world, not just, you know, those that are queer or allied, but just for those who didn't feel a place in any other place, like not in sports or regular academics, theater has always been that home that opens up the doors for everybody. And so we're really excited to be a part of this program. We're excited to have it with Playhouse.
Well, how have you seen your companies and programs impact the community of Memphis?
We do a whole lot. Our Grizzlies mentoring partnership that we have, they are part of the Grizzlies Foundation. It's a separate little sector called the Grizzlies Team Mentoring Program, and we are in 5 different charter schools, and we bring an opportunity to do a theatrical performance to all of the kids in those programs. Most of them have never done anything before, and most of them don't want to. And so it's a really exciting and interesting challenge, and they always end up loving it in the end, having an experience. They get to come and perform their piece on the big Laurie stage at Theater Memphis, so a lot of their first theatrical experiences are a really big, amazing one. It's a lovely finale moment where everybody gets to shine and experience theater, usually for the first time.
And as I said, Playhouse on the Square has been a part of the Memphis community for going on 50 years. 44 of those years have been situated, nestled right there in the middle of Overton Square, right in Midtown, the linchpin of the arts community there as well. So yeah, we have never been afraid to do those shows and do those performances that show society itself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're really proud of that. A lot more good recently. But yeah, we're happy to do that, and we're looking forward to another 50 years.
Well, Marcus and Lena, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Stay put. Once we return, we'll turn our focus to how public schools are using theater to develop life skills.
This place, it's extremely unique.
You are pushed to do things that you didn't know you could do because someone else saw it in you.
If you're with us for your whole 4 years here at GHS, you get a great foundation of amazing classes.
Try the priest.
The approach we take to whether it's the fall play or the spring musical is that the students are truly the ones that are making the magic happen.
Tell all the people. You put the work in off and on stage. Not only are you on stage acting and playing a part, you're working, you're pricking your fingers, sewing the costumes, you're learning how to make exotic makeup designs, you're learning how to build the set that you're going to be planted on.
And as you grow with us within the program, your skills continue to develop, and we build off your previous knowledge. And hopefully by the time you graduate, you're a well-rounded professional in a way, and you can move into any area that you'd like after high school and succeed.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm your host, Rachel Christopherson. One of the best ways for students to dip their feet into theater is through their high school theater department. Sister Act is currently running on the Papa Pike Playhouse stage. Take a look.
One of the things that's hard about doing musical theater in high school is that you always have kids who can sing. You always have kids who can find it in them, the acting part of it.
No, that wasn't me.
But the dancing part is hard.
Wait, this might not be for me.
It's definitely a challenge.
If we do things that are easy, then why are we here?
Dance adds another level of the plot. It adds so much fun.
It's more than just a step touch, but it's actual movements and jumps and fan kicks and all these things that we haven't really been exposed to.
They didn't know that they could do that at the beginning. They were like, there's no way. But to now see that they can, it's really exciting.
It's a very energetic musical. It's very flashy and really fun.
But if I come out in this, I would just drop dead. Well, then we have a plan.
Sister Act is based on the early 1990s movie that starred Whoopi Goldberg.
The score was set by Alan Menken, who also set Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid. And he's really done a phenomenal job at balancing things from the movie, but also tunes that you've never heard in your life.
It shows the power of friendship and love and finding strength in others.
Oh, this is disco. This is my type of music.
It's that energy, especially in a show like this, that's going to drive it and make it fun.
This could be a show where people are up dancing in the aisles.
It's upbeat, so that'll appeal to kids and teenagers, but also it's like a blast from the past. So parents and any sort of adults that want to come, I think they'll really enjoy the show.
What makes the PPP different from other schools?
We produce our entire show ourselves. We put so much hard work into it. That's why it's our show, and that's why we own it.
Joining us for our final segment is a woman that you saw in that package, Ashley Williams, the musical director at Germantown High School. Miss Williams, thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I have here the Sister Act playbill.
Yes.
This is a $20,000 book filled with ads and sponsorships. What was the process of fundraising for this playbill?
Well, one of the things that we do to raise money in order to put on our musical is that the students sell ads, all kinds of advertisements for this book. And it's very important, I think, because they have an investment in the show. We truly do raise every penny in order to put on our productions. And so we have all different kinds of sizes of ads, all different things that they can sell. And then we have students who actually put the book together as well.
Well, how much of the production process is done by students?
Almost 100%. I mean, obviously, I direct the show and do the choreography, but the students do everything else. So they're doing the props and they're building the set and they're making the costumes. And of course, we have teachers that are supervising those things. But it's one of the things I love about our program is that it's very hands-on and we want the students to be involved in every aspect of the show.
Well, what has the rehearsal process been like for Sister Act?
This one has been a lot of fun. Sister Act is just a very fun, uplifting show. So we've really had a fun time rehearsing. We started before the winter break, learning music and of course doing the auditions. And then when we came back, We started with the choreography and the blocking. It's a pretty dance-heavy show or movement-heavy show, so that has been a little bit different because we don't always do a dance show. So that's taken a little bit of extra time.
Well, why did you choose to put on Sister Act?
After last year, we did Sweeney Todd last year, which is a very serious, dramatic musical. And I just wanted something different. One of my goals as a teacher is to expose students to different things over their 4 years that they're here. So this group of seniors have done everything from Sweeney Todd, which was, like I said, very dramatic, to The Little Mermaid, which is very Disney and very production number oriented, to something like Sister Act that has a lot of dance in it, but it's very different. It has a very different style of music being written or supposed to be, taking place in the 70s, so it gives it a very different feel. So that's really why I chose it. I just wanted something, like I said, something fun and something different for the students to experience.
Well, what are some of the main things you want to teach the cast and crew throughout the rehearsal process?
I think I wanted, the main thing, my main goal as a teacher is to teach these kids that they are capable of doing great things. And I know I say that all the time, but it really is, I think, the foundation of what I try to get across, is that they can take this project, they can take something that is this big and this huge, and they can do their absolute best at it. Well, he actually was the head of this department for many years, and I went to school at Germantown as well. So Frank Bluestein always used to say, somebody has to be the best, so why can't it be us? And I think that's what we strive for. Not that we are necessarily the best, but if you can't strive for that, then why are you doing it, So I want them to know that they can take something and they can make it their own and make it something to really be proud of.
Well, what are some of the skills your students have at the end of a musical production?
I think they learn to work together. That is what I love about theater, is that it's collaborative. You cannot do theater by yourself. I say that all the time to the kids, that I don't do this by myself. I have a team of teachers that we all work together to make this show happen, and the kids are the same way. They realize that they can't just stand on their own, whether you're the stage manager to the lead of the show, building the set, it all has to come together, and you have to do that through collaboration. So there's that, and of course just the things in school. I hope to teach them time management, because all these kids go to school all day long, and then they have to rehearse for 3 hours a day. They still have to do their homework. They still have to, do all those things that normal kids have to do. So I hope that they learn how to manage their time throughout it as well.
What is it about working with students in theater that has attracted you?
I've been doing this for 18 years, and I think I keep coming back to do it because I love to see a child who doesn't think that they have this in them. And when opening night comes, it is as if it is a different person standing in front of me. And I think it's watching students grow. I think it's the growth, and especially when I'm lucky enough to have students for 4 years, and I see how they were as freshmen to how they are now as seniors. That's what keeps me going. I just love to see how pouring into them and how theater specifically has changed their lives.
Well, Ms. Williams, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Not only does theater play a vital role in education programs, but it also influences the students attending to maintain better lifestyles while enjoying the perks in and off the stage. Remember, Crosstalk can be seen each week at 9:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 a.m., and 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Sundays. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Rachel Christopherson. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.